was again, you know, ready early and getting prepared and excited about, you know, how early I was and everything, and managed to here we go. Good. Instagram is working. Managed to miss the start because I was ready early and was being productive. So sorry that we started a couple minutes late there. Today we are going to talk about I just had brain fried. Holidays on a budget. So ideas for gifts, and I mean last week we kind of did decorations on a budget, right? We did holiday decorations, but this week we were kind of thinking more along the lines of like Thanksgiving or whatever. But this week we are going to talk about just different ideas of how you can celebrate your holidays on a budget, and these are things that are good for if you of course are saving money, but also a lot of times they're also good for things if you're trying to be kind to the environment as well. So that is what today is going to be all about. And I have been like pulling things together, which is what a lot of this mess over here is all about. That and some oranges. Woohoo, clementines. I think clementines, right? Clementines, mandarins, whichever those are called. Whatever you call them, they're yummy. So we've got that. And I brainstormed some ideas and everything. There's also going to be a little difference in the way we do the sit and stitches and the newsletters moving forward. It's occurred to me that, it's become apparent to me that the 10 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. sit and stitch that happens usually on the second Wednesday of every month, which would be today, very few people are able to show up to that other than my mom, which is absolutely lovely. I very much adore having time with my mom, but she's the only one who can consistently make it to that time frame. I was trying to be considerate to people who would rather early in the day than later, but I think maybe that was a little too early considering it's 10 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Eastern time zone, which means by the time we get over to the Pacific, even a little bit farther that way, west, it becomes rather early in the morning. So I think we're going to move that time frame. We already had one from 1 to 3 Eastern, so we'll move that one to like 2 to 4 Eastern. So our time frames will be 1 to 3, 2 to 4, 6 to 8, and 7 to 9. And those are all listed in the events calendar, which is on the Crochet Foundry page, and I will make sure to get it linked over on the Jessie at Home page as well. And then what I'm going to start doing with the newsletters is the newsletters will go back to going out on either on like Saturday probably, but they're inside of them there will be a link to the previous week's live. So the one that comes out this Saturday, there'll be a link to where you can watch the replay of this live. And then in the newsletter, I will give you links to anything we talked about on the live, okay? Because sometimes I can get all the links in the description of the video. Sometimes there's way too many links to put in the description of the video. And sometimes you guys ask questions or we change the topic a little bit based on what you guys are feeling like. And I give links that or talk about things that I don't have links for, or I give links that I wasn't planning on giving. So by having the newsletter kind of give a little like, this is what we talked about on Wednesday, here's the link to the replay. I can also do, here are all the links, and then anything else I have to put in the newsletter will still go in there as well. All right, so that is what we're going to do. That way you do not have to stress about, links that I didn't give you or whatever like that. So right now up there, because today's sit and stitch already happened, it was this morning, up there, that QR code, right there, QR code is to sign up for the newsletter. That's going to take you to the Jessie at Home newsletter. At this point, the Jessie at Home newsletter and the Crochet Foundry newsletter are essentially the same thing. So sign up right there for the newsletter. And what you will get is you'll get the newsletter usually on Saturday, and there'll be a link to where you can watch the replay of today's video. The replay is on YouTube. And I will also, in that newsletter, give you links to anything we talk about on here so that you don't have to worry about saving the links or anything like that. They'll all be in the newsletter. And one of the other things to note, guys, is on my YouTube videos, I have joined the YouTube shopping program, which means that occasionally you will see links right here on the bottom left of your screen. And well, for me, that's the bottom left. Hopefully, I think that's still the bottom left for you. Yeah, no, I'm not really sure. Anyway, on the bottom left of your screen will be, occasionally there'll be links, shopping links. So if I talk about an issue of Crochet Foundry, you might see where you can, a little shopping link to buy Crochet Foundry. If I talk about this sparkle yarn, which once this is on the replay, I can go back and I can add shopping links to this video. So hopefully right now, if you're watching the replay, when you're watching this live right now, you're not going to see it. But hopefully on the replay right here will be a link to where you can buy the Red Heart Sparkle yarn. Okay. So there will be any videos that I have tagged. There'll be a way that you can click on, you can, like, I think in the description, you can click on shopping, and it will show you everything I've tagged to shop. And then occasionally throughout the video, there might be like individual shopping links that show up in the bottom left corner. But again, in the description of the video, there will be a little thing that says shopping. And if you click on that, it'll give you everything I've tagged, because I might just put one little link here for this yarn, but I might have found it in like 4 or 5 different places. So I might have a list with more stuff on it. All right. So pay attention to those in the YouTube channels. It'll be a great way for you to be able to just directly buy something. If you're like, oh my gosh, that yarn is great. Like Monique says, that yarn looks so shiny. It is. It is no longer packaged in this manner. This was from several years ago, I believe pre-pandemic. They were packaging it this way, but the yarn is still made. Right? It's just packaged a different way. So that'll all be there. The links will be on the YouTube video and or in the newsletters that come out on Sunday. So there's the little bit of how things are changing. Again, this link right up here, the QR code, is how you can sign up for the newsletters. And the newsletters are going to be coming out on the weekends, and they will have a link to the replay of this video. And they will also have in them any links that we talked about within the Wednesday live, and the replay of the Wednesday live. By the time the weekend comes along, we'll have any shopping links that I am able to use. The shopping links are affiliate links. You pay the same amount of money. I get a little bit of advertising commission for having told you about it, but you pay the same amount. It also enables me to find extra sales and get extra coupon codes and that sort of stuff. So I'll be sharing those with you as I get them. So this should be a lot of fun. So let's get into the super fun part, which is talking about holiday crafting, things that you can do to keep your holidays on a budget. So I did some brainstorming, and I'm hoping that you guys can join in and give me comments if you have ideas. And I am going to we'll do a little bit of some crafting together too. And so these are yarn and craft ideas both. All right. So some of the things I have here, a lot of stuff, not only am I talking about using up your scrap yarns and stuff, but also I think a lot of us have a stash of these grown-up coloring books. I have too many. I can't lift them all up at once that way. So I have like this flower mandalas book. Here are some coloring pages I pulled out of some of the books that I liked. Here is a folk art coloring book. Follow Your Bliss coloring book. And then I have like a whole series of these little smaller holiday coloring books. Okay. So I think a lot of us have these coloring books that we've done some of, but not all of, or, we just have a stash of them. I feel like I probably have even more. I am like almost positive these are not all my coloring books. People tend to put them in swag bags, which is how I end up with quite so many. And yeah, there are actually a couple more here. This was actually mini motivations and Enchanted Forest, which I will probably leave as it is. But who knows? I may change my mind. So what you want to do is you can take these pages, right? And you can do various things with them. Like this is really cute. And actually the little mini books that I was showing you, they actually have line space on the back. So you can actually, one year I got all those books to review, and I wrote my Christmas letters on one side. The kids and I colored these in and then wrote like Christmas letters to everybody. We were having a very low budget Christmas, so we colored them in and wrote Christmas letters to people. And those were pretty much our little gifts, but they were like handwritten little letters to each individual person. That was a lot of fun, or at least each family. All right. Now you could also take something like this. Like this one has this really cute picture of a deer, right? And you could cut around it and you can make a card. So you can get some cardstock, right? And fold it in half and cut around this and put it on there, and you could color it yourself, or you could give it along with some like gel pens and let the person who you give it to color them in. Okay, let's see. Monique says, I don't actually have one of those books, but you're sure your daughter does, as you got it for her. The other thing, guys, is you can, if you have a printer, all right, I'm guessing that you have a computer and internet access because you're here. So if you have a printer, you can easily find like free coloring pages. So you could type in free coloring pages Christmas, free coloring pages Kwanzaa, free coloring pages Hanukkah, free coloring pages Thanksgiving, free coloring pages motivational, whatever, right? Or just free coloring pages and see what happens. A lot of times when I do those searches, when I get the search results, I flip it over to images. And then that way I can kind of see the images that are coming up on there. But, whatever floats your boat. So some of the things you can do with these, and you can either do them uncolored and give like gel pens or something so that the person who receives them can color them in, would be like a card. And what you could do if you were doing this as a card is the part that's colored in, or that can be colored in, it can be a separate piece on a piece of cardstock that can be pulled off and maybe have a little hole in the middle, a little like hole punch over here with some yarn or something, so it can be used as an ornament. Right, on this side here, you see there's that little tiny cute little ornament, right? You see that? Something else you could do with that is you could cut that ornament out, put it on a piece of cardstock, and that's maybe a little bigger than it, so it's got a little outline to it, and then glue a pin back to the other side. So you would have this cute little ornament with a piece of cardstock behind it. And behind that piece of cardstock, you could do a magnet back or a pin back. And then either you've colored it in ahead of time, or if you're giving it with the markers colored in, you might not want to have actually attached the pin or magnet back. You might want to give it to them as well with instructions on how to attach it or whatever, because it's kind of hard to color when it's not flat anymore. But it could then become a decorative little holiday pin, or a decorative magnet. For that, if you're doing a holiday pin or a magnet, it might be better if you've actually pre-colored those. And so it would be on the front of the card or whatever, or it could be the hanging tag. It can be like put on top of a present if you just want it as the tag for the present. Because then what you can do is you can laminate with a piece of packing tape. As long as it's not as wide as the packing tape, you can laminate that with a piece of packing tape. And now it's a little bit safer for wearing as a pin or on a fridge, because if it gets wet or moist or whatever, it's not going to be such a big deal. So those are some ideas to do with this. The other idea that I really like, and we'll even kind of show one, is you can make origami with it. So I'll show you how to really easily turn a rectangle into a square without having to worry about like lots of measuring and everything. And in the newsletter that's coming in this weekend's newsletter, I will include links to some different origami patterns that I think will really work well. Monique says, loves the shirt. Thank you. Knit the rainbow. And love the idea of making holiday decor that your cats and children cannot break, and you can make with my family and free. Right, exactly. So, and you can do this same sort of ideas with Christmas cards you already have. You can make pins out of them. You can make magnets out of them. You can make holiday bunting out of them. Okay. So let's talk real quick about what you can do. Yes, with your holiday cards. Really fun bunting idea. You can, on the top of your holiday card, just poke a couple holes, okay, with a hole punch, or you can just use an awl or a thick needle, right? Poke some holes in it. And then what I would actually do is, before I poked holes in it, I would almost like laminate the back with some Scotch tape or packing tape, because sometimes when you've poked a hole in it, it'll then like want to tear a little bit more easily as you attach it to something. And then what you can do is you can make bunting with your holiday cards. So you can then just make a chain and then maybe, crochet. You can just crochet a chain. And then when you get to the card, crochet the chain through the card, or do a single crochet through the card or whatever, right? Through all those little holes you've made. You can do like a single crochet and then a couple chains, and then a single crochet and a couple chains and whatever. And you've made your little holiday bunting. You can even find cards in sets of 2 so that you can do it on both sides. So it can be something that you hang up like in a doorway where people can see both sides. If they're only going to see one side, don't worry. If they're going to see both sides, just find cards that kind of are the same size that work in sets of 2, and you can cut them out. So those are that's a fun idea for keeping a card. You can also poke holes all the way around. You can cut out whatever picture you like, poke holes all the way around it in a square or in a circle, and again, crochet or embroider or knit around it. Remember, you can knit around that too by simply taking your thread and going through the hole and over. So you can poke, put your thread through the hole and then wrap it around, and maybe do that twice, and then go to the next one and do it like twice, and so on and so forth. And now you have these little loops, and now you can knit into each one of those loops when you're doing, you can pick up a stitch from each one of those loops, cast on, pick up some stitches from each one of these loops, keep casting on, go to the next card, pick up some stitches. So that's how you can kind of knit onto it. So many ways to do like fun things with those cards that will be really fun decor. That might work for, next year, unless you have a stash of cards you kept from previous years that you're like, someday I'll do something with this. There are some ideas. Let's see. So yeah, Monique says, every year do this, keep some of your favorites, and it's nice to see and celebrate with. It's much prettier to create. All right, so there are some ideas for what to do with leftover cards or with these coloring pages, and we will pop back to the coloring pages in a minute. But I want to go through a few other things. And again, if you guys have suggestions, please say them. And again, any links that will help with these things, I'm going to include in the newsletter that comes out this weekend. So go ahead and click that link if you're not on the newsletter. All right, so some other ideas. Felt decorations. This is something actually my mom suggested. I asked my mom, I was like, hey, you know what? I remember when we were little, we did a lot of like budget holidays. We needed to financially, and it was fun to do things together as a family. Like, some of my favorite holiday memories are crafting with my mom to make holiday gifts. It was so fun. Like, we've always been a handmade gift family, because we're all skilled with various crafts or arts. My father is an incredible artistic craftsman, woodworker. Like, one year he made cutting boards where, how you can put the different pieces of wood together that all have like the different colored woods. Like, cherry is that kind of, it's very cherry colored, right? It's like that when you dye your hair cherry red, it's that like deep red kind of color. And then there's like bird's eye maple, which is so pretty with like the little like like little dots in it. And then there's oak, which can be really dark, and pine, which can be really light. I don't think he used pine though. I think pine was too soft. I don't remember. But anyway, and he probably didn't use bird's eye maple for these. He knows what he's doing. He used the woods that worked complementary together and everything. But he would make them, so that you can get the different colors together, and then you cut them and stick them together and plane them out flat and cut them in different directions to make different decoration, different designs. And you come up with these absolutely gorgeous wooden like cutting boards or charcuterie boards. I mean, this was the 70s and 80s. These were cutting boards. Because nowadays people use them for charcuterie boards. But yeah, it was so cool. So he did that 1 year for Christmas. 1 year for Christmas, he made wooden boxes. This past year for Christmas, we were actually there celebrating with them. And he took each one of my two kids and my brother's two kids down to his wood shop, and they made boxes together. So that was really cool. I have the box that I have from the first year that he made Christmas boxes is over there. I actually keep my my thumbtacks, my long thumbtacks in it that I use when I'm pinning things down to my cutting board over there. And then I actually have a new one from this year that's upstairs because I keep some of my notions in it. So I use them. They're so handy. So if you do woodworking or something like that, think about those sorts of things you can make with your scrap wood. Sometimes we have time, not money. Sometimes we have money, not time. Sometimes we don't have much of either. Sometimes we have a bunch of both. It all depends. All right. So take what I'm saying, that the things that work for you, use them. Things that don't. So when I was talking to my mom, one of the things she had said was that when we were, I remember this one so clearly. There were a couple times where we did felt ornaments. Okay. Nowadays you can usually get those in kits. Okay. You can get those kits at like Kirshner's or Busella from Plaid makes those. Leisure Arts usually makes them. But you can get those kits where like the design is kind of pre-printed on the felt. But you can also go online and put like felt ornament patterns, free felt ornament patterns, or free patterns for felt ornaments, whatever. Do that, search it, and you can find the paper patterns that you can print out. And then you can just go to your local craft store, or you can go online to, Michael's or wherever, and you can get the felt squares, right? And you can make your, you can take the printout. So maybe you have a snowman and a stocking and a tree. And so you get some white and you get some red and you get some green, you get a couple different colors, and you can just place, you cut out the paper ornament and you place it on top of the felt, trace it, and you can make 15 snowmen. You can make as many as you need because you just have the paper pattern as opposed to pre-printed on the felt. Go ahead and use the kits if you want to. Like, that's totally fair. Use the kit if that's what you want to do. Or you can find online, you can find free patterns that you can print off your computer and then cut out the paper and just trace it onto the felt. And then you can do whatever colors you want. If you have the little carolers or whatever, you can make your little, like a kid with his little, kid with their mittens and hat or whatever. You can make the skin color match. You can make the colors of the coats match the kid's favorite coat. You can do all of that sort of stuff. So I really like the idea of using those patterns you can get, those free patterns you can get online to, and I'm sure there's paid ones too that are probably even more spectacular, right? Or you can make your own, however you want to do, whatever floats your boat, dude. If you want to make like stars and stockings, you can freaking trace around cookie cutters, okay? Take a cookie cutter and trace around it, and make sure you wash it really well afterwards. Or just like trace around it on a piece of cardstock and use that cardstock as your own pattern afterwards, so you can like trace with Sharpie or whatever and not worry about non-food stuff on food stuff, whatever. So, you can do those things, and then you can go through your craft supplies, and maybe you have sequins, or maybe you have leftover diamond dots and you have fabric glue, or they do make glue specifically for putting diamond dots on things, but there's also, you can use fabric glue or whatever to glue those onto your felt. ornaments. You can sew on sequins, you can sew on beads. We had the ornaments that I still have from when we were little. We use those gold stars. You go to the like the office store or whatever, and you would get the little stars that the teachers would put on your homeworks on your homework and everything. Like, I have a snowman that I made, like a little felt snowman that was just white felt, and I think he might have button eyes, and then like his smile, his buttons down, they're all like those gold stars that the teachers would put on your homework that we stuck on. We might have like used a little Elmer's glue or something to really stick. And let me tell you, Elmer's glue is fabulous for this. It will, well, I don't know nowadays. I haven't used it on felt recently, but it does tend to, especially if it's someone like when we were like 4 or 5 and we were a little heavy handed with it, it'll make it kind of a hard spot. But if you're making an ornament, whatever, that's fine. There are fabric glues that you can use that are less likely, that will be a little more flexible. But we did that. We actually doubled up. So we would cut out 2 of the snowmen, and then we sewed it together and stuffed it and sewed it the rest of the way. So, and you can stuff those things with scraps of like the offcut little pieces of yarn. Like, I've shown you my little bag of yarn cuttings. Okay. And I have a second one upstairs. And you can use these to stuff those little ornaments. Okay. Really fun ideas. You can, of course, crochet or knit little ornaments. And I have some of those patterns on Jessie at Home. You can just search holiday or ornaments or whatever, but I will include some of those links. Let me add yarn ornament patterns to my little list of links to include in the newsletter. Let's see, what else do I have here? Of course, when you're talking about handmade and budget-friendly holidays, who doesn't love getting baked goods? Like, that's just fun. So, of course, that's a great way. Baking your own like cookies, little like pound cakes, whatever, that can be very, very affordable. And people love it. Most people, I'm sure there are people who don't. You always want to make sure if you're baking something, you make sure you understand people's allergies, allergies and stuff, because it would really, really stink if you baked somebody chocolate chip cookies to find out they're allergic to chocolate. Or, I like putting walnuts or I like putting nuts in some of my cookies, and some people are allergic to those, right? Peanut butter cookies, somebody's allergic to peanuts, so remember that sort of stuff. This year I'm making a bunch of scrubbies. Okay, so I have this scrubby yarn. This one comes from Red Heart, and then this one comes from Hirschner's. But there's bunches of places that have these various scrubby yarns. I have so much of it from like pre-pandemic Red Heart. I'm really not sure why, but I have 2 or 3 of each of. There's a green, a white, a red, a blue, and a gold. And I have 2 full skeins and an open skein of, I think, every single color. I'm not even sure why. So I'm making scrubbies. And in this case, purple. Oh, actually, what you're seeing as purple is actually a very pretty blue. It's a very, very pretty blue. But my color on my screen is a little off. But it's a gorgeous blue. And I bet you if I made something with the blue and the red like held together, it would probably be kind of purplish, right? Because color theory. So, oh yeah, I read that and you guys couldn't. It says Monique was like, oh my God, purple. Because the color on my screen is different. Gold, you remember that being so cool? If it was extra, and if it was extra gold, you get another extra good. You get another sticky, maybe a smelly one. Yes, the smelly stickers. I love the root beer smelly stickers. Those are the best, right? Okay, so for scrubbies, in this case, I just did a crochet mitered square. You could just do a crochet square. You could do a knit square. You could do crochet or knit circles. I love these. Okay, I'm gonna make like a set for everybody for for the holidays, and I may come up with an idea for a container to put them in, something to put them in. I might just use like a plastic canvas and make a little plastic canvas little bin to put it in, where I don't do any embroidering on the bottom. I don't do any sewing on the bottom piece of plastic canvas, so it's still open, and then still use the scrubby yarn to do like just a little box like this high on the edges, because you want to keep in mind, if people are using these for scrubbies, it might get wet. So you need to think about that. You don't want something that's going to get wet, stay wet, and start to smell, right? People are probably not going to be washing the thing they put their scrubbies in. So if you're giving them something to put their scrubbies in, think about, is that like washable in the sink versus, because that's probably how they will wash it, is in the sink. These guys you can toss in the washing machine. So I have a bunch of these at my sink, and they're just used for like a day or two. Usually every other day or so, I take whatever scrubby people have been using and I toss it in the laundry basket that I have in the kitchen, and I pull out another one. And then at the end of the week, when the laundry gets done, they all get washed and we're back to using them again. Eventually, depending on what you're washing with them, if you're not careful when you're washing scissors or knives or whatever, eventually they'll you know, they might start to they might get torn, they might get cut, whatever. That's fine. They're not massively expensive. They're really inexpensive, and I like to just make a big set of them. And I do like to double them. So what I've done here is I made a gold square and a red square. I actually made a rectangle. So I made a red square, and then I attached the gold onto it, and underneath made the gold square, and then so it was a 2x1 rectangle, and then I folded it and just seamed it along the edge, and I left a really long tail with each of the yarns, so I used the tail of the yarns to sew it together and shoved all the extra tails inside here just as stuffing. And so now it's nice, it's thick, it really holds a lot of soap, it lathers well. These are freaking awesome, and these are going to be my holiday gifts this year. All right. Let's see. What else do I have here? Scarves, hats, ear warmers. Those are all things that are good to make with your leftover yarn. Keeps things inexpensive. It depends on the amount of time you have. Ear warmers obviously don't take as long. Here we go. I hope you saved this. I'm working. Can't stay. Road to healthy. Do not fret. A couple things. If you're on the newsletter list, you will definitely be getting all this information in the newsletter on Saturday. If you're not on the newsletter list, this QR code here up in the up here in the corner will allow you to sign up for the newsletter. Okay, that's the newsletter sign up, or you can just go to jessieathome.com/newsletter and sign up. The replay for this will stay on YouTube, and the newsletter that's going to come out on Saturday will have a link to the replay for this video, and I will, in the newsletter, put down all of the links, okay, that I'm talking about, or, you know, I'll put down links for the yarns we're talking about, I'll put down links for some of the patterns, anything we talk about in the video, I'll put links in the newsletter that's going to come out on Saturday. And by the time Saturday rolls around, this video that will be able to be replayed on YouTube will have shopping links for anything that I can put shopping links on the YouTube video for. So do not stress Road to Healthy. You will have all of that information, and you are welcome. Road to Healthy said thank you, and I said you're welcome. I can't share the Instagram comments on the screen like I can with other ones. All right, so let's see. These guys. Oh, and here's another question. Are the links going to be in the description of the video? I would really recommend you get the newsletter. I will probably put some of the links in the description of the video, but any links that I can put in the shopping, so like the links to buying this yarn, will be listed in the shopping. So at the bottom of the description, it will say shopping. It's not going to right now because I have to wait until this is on replay, and then I have to tag everything after the video has happened. Since I didn't know for sure everything we would talk about, and I wasn't quite prepared enough to get it pre-tagged. So there'll be shopping links that you can find in the shopping section, and some of them will be linked like within the video. And then things that can't be linked within the video, I can try to get all of those in the description of the video, but the best way to get the list of links will be by getting on the newsletter. Okay. But I'll try to make sure everything is then kind of saved within the video, either in the shopping section or in the description as well. So you don't have to save the newsletter. You can just find it all on the replay of the video. All right. What else do we do? We just said scarves, hats, ear warmers that can be knit, they can be crocheted, they can be sewn, whatever you want, whatever you have extras of, whatever skill you already know how to do, go ahead and do those, right? Obviously something like ear warmers takes less yarn and or time than then something like a scarf. Oh, Monique, you meant the link for the newsletter. Well, the link for the newsletter is right here. So it's right here. That's with that QR code. And so that is there for this whole video. And also a lot of times I do have the newsletter linked in the description as well. All right. So other things. Swatch projects. Last week, we talked about things you can make with your swatches, right? Because I had talked about this amazing book, which I might actually have a link for. Let's see. Well, here is the name of the book. And real quick, I'm going to change that link. Okay, so right now, this QR code is about to change. All right, that QR code just changed. This QR code is now the affiliate link to get this book. Okay. So I had made swatches for this book. I made the swatches from this book. All right. Obviously I am not Anna Marie. Anna Marie is amazing and wonderful. And I often have designer envy from the things that she creates. They're absolutely gorgeous. She's brilliant. She's a wonderful pattern writer. Of course, the patterns are all tech edited as well, but they started off wonderful even before they had to be tech edited. I know this because I've gotten her patterns for Crochet Foundry before, and my tech editors never need to spend a whole lot of time on her patterns because they're always like so well written. So I made the swatches from this book, and then last week we talked about things you can do with those swatches. So real quick, if you want the link to buy this book, that's the link up there. I'm about to change it. Okay. So it's changing right now. It is now back to the newsletter link. Oops, there we go. It's now back to the newsletter link, and I'm going to get rid of that so we can go back to comments. All right. So here are some of the things I have made already. And I am writing an entire post on things to do with swatches. So this is a bag. So you see it's a little reversible bag. I used her swatch, and since her swatch was reversible, I made the bag reversible because here's the swatch that I just made another piece to go on the back of. I could have made a second swatch if I wanted to. I then seamed it and added a little braided tie, right? But it's reversible, so I can go whoop. So when you have a swatch that's really pretty on both sides, you can do something like that. Okay. The back stayed the same because this is just a single layer of linen stitch, but because the swatch was from the Reversible Crocheted Sweaters book, I wanted to make sure that I wasn't doing something with the swatch that would hide one of the sides, because both of the sides of this are really pretty, right? So there's one. Little bags, great use of swatches. You can take 2 swatches you have already, or even 3, and you can make a cute little bag. Mug rug. So here's another one of her swatches, the swatches I made from her book. It came out a little bit smaller. Okay. So different yarn, different hook, all of that sort of stuff. And it's kind of it's a tighter crochet. It's a tighter stitch, and the yarn is good for a mug rug. So I was like, ooh, this is a very pretty mug rug. And the nice thing is, it's big enough for my gigantic Queen of Everything mug. Look at that. My Queen of Everything mug fits on here. And I could probably even put one of my awesome clementines or whatever right there on it as well. So all I did for the mug rug is I took the swatch and added little tassels to it. Okay. So these are great for Christmas. One year for Christmas, I did, my parents have a set of really cute, a set of mug rugs that I made them one year for Christmas. Okay. And it was just a swatch And I believe it was actually a two-sided mosaic swatch that I added tassels on two opposite ends. Okay, so that was really fun, very cute. And I actually made a little bag. I had a bag that you could do sublimation on, and I used the artistry markers and made like a little teacup that I think I printed it off of, again, I printed it out or I hand drew it. I don't really remember what, but the little bag that it goes in has a little teacup on it that I made and used sublimation, the iron on to decorate it. And then all the little mug rugs fit inside of it and everything is washable. So mug rugs are fun. Make sure that they're washable. This one, because I used a hemp yarn for this swatch, what I then did was I did a linen stitch around it. And because it's a hemp cotton mix, and hemp is really is antimicrobial or antimicrobial. Anyway, it's good for washcloths. All right. It doesn't tend to get gross. It's easily washable. It gets softer as it's washed, but it still like has some nice scrubby properties to it. And of course, this stitch has nice scrubby properties to it. So this makes a really awesome washcloth that I can toss in the wash. Okay. These, again, they would also make great gifts. So something like a hemp yarn, really great for making face cloths and stuff, because it's washable and friendly to your skin. So there are some of them, like this little guy I'm going to turn into a reversible phone bag. I think it was this one that I was going to do that with. The same way, the same idea as I did the little bag here. It'll just be a phone holder. I think that's what I was going to do with that one. This one, it's a little bigger, right? So I am going to just gather this end, which was the side where I started, is just a little more finished looking. So this other end, what I'm going to do is just gather it together, and I'm going to make I have a cousin who's pregnant, and I'm going to make a little reversible baby hat. So then she can fold it up like this, right? Or she can flip it once that end has been gathered and wear it this way with this folded up. Okay. And it's just going to be gathered up here. And this was just made from cotton. It's the universal. I don't have it right here. It's universal cotton supreme, I think. And so, it's baby safe. It's not too hot because this is 2 layers, right? This reversible crochet, it is 2 layers. This is one of the swatches from that book. So yeah, this is the starting chain, and I'm just going to take on the top, just run some thread, some yarn through, gather it up on the top, and it will be a perfect little baby hat. It can be pulled down long, it can be folded up, and it can be reversed. Okay, so I'm doing that for my cousin who's pregnant. So there are some ideas, and like I said, this is going to be, actually I think this might be the one that I was going to make a phone case from. Yeah, I think this is it. This is the one I was going to make a phone case from, because it's kind of tall and skinny, and it'll grow a little bit too when you put in something heavy, so it'll be really nice for the phone. It'll really hold it in there well. And I'll probably do the same ideas of the straps for this, or I don't know. I'll figure that out. But it's going to be a little phone case. Okay. So this is a post that will happen hopefully before this weekend. I'll finish it because I just need to finish up the last couple samples, and I have some more. I have to do put a bunch of links in it and everything. So this is going to be a post on jessieathome.com about what to do with your finished swatches. It's a review of the book and also what to do with your finished swatches. So that will all be up, and the link will be in the newsletter you get this weekend. So even more really great ideas. Oh, well, this is a really easy question to answer. Monique wants to know why all my swatches are so pretty. This is why all my swatches are so pretty, because they're from this book. Okay? Because Anna Maria is a wonderful designer, and I just followed along. Okay? I mean, I'm a wonderful designer too, but we're different kinds of designers. Like our styles, I love getting to review books from people who have like, who use different techniques than me, who have different styles than me. Like, it's so fun to be able to do that, right? It's like the things she comes up with are not things I would come up with, and the things I come up with are not things that she would come up with. In no way do I ever really, I don't know, I don't really consider many people my competition. And I'm not saying that in a stuck up sort of way. I'm saying that there's a way of, I seriously doubt there's many of you who only ever use patterns from one designer, right? So that means that designers aren't each other's competitors. You know, if you're going to tell me you want to do something in reversible crochet, I'm going to send you to Anna Maria. If you're going to tell me you want to do something in Tunisian, you know, I'm going to send you to Kim Guzman or Mary Beth Temple or Tony Lipsy. You know, if you tell me you want to do something in Jacob's Ladder, I'm going to send you to me. Okay. So it depends on, you know, we all have our own specialties. We all have our own styles. And in most cases, you guys you're just looking for whatever patterns speak to you. And sometimes it's mine, sometimes it's somebody else's. And the best thing we can all do is work together and lift each other up. So yes, as Monique says, art is not a competition. So, you know, and other people can say things too. It doesn't have to only be Monique. All right. And I still have a few more here ideas. I know we're almost out of time. Okay, I said coasters and mug rugs, swatch projects. The last thing I had written here was the cord. There's the I-cord makers, like the cord quill from where'd it go? Twice Sheared Sheep. Thank you. Okay, Twice Sheared Sheep. So this is an affiliate link for Twice Sheared Sheep that you can use. I might even have one up here. Let's see. Do I? No, I should make one up here that I can just keep. Oh, I do. Okay, the link up here, the QR code is about to change again. Just warning. Okay, this QR code right here is now the QR code that will take you. It is an affiliate link that will take you to Twice Sheared Sheep. Twice Sheared Sheep has the cord quill that makes an I-cord, okay? And you can take that and you can slide wire into it, and you can make, if you have teens or preteens, you could make a 6 and a 7 and, like, you know, make a 6-7 keychain. My kids aren't even that age anymore, and neither one of them do it, yet I still know about it. And I'm still annoyed by it because I remember how annoying some of their things were. And if you don't know what that is, you're probably happy not know. It's just something they say. It doesn't have a meaning like, you know, 69 has a meaning, is 6-7. It was a audio from something, and it's just an annoying thing they do. But you could also do people's initials. So you use the cord quill to make an I-cord, and then you get some craft wire and you slide it in there, and then you shape it into, you know, somebody's initials, or into knit or crochet or yarn or craft or whatever. And you can do you can do a little pin, you could do a little magnet, you could do a keychain. You could do it really big and do it for, like, you know, a piece of wall decor, put it in a frame, any of those sorts of things. So that's a really fun idea to do with, like, to use your scrap yarn to make an I-cord, slide in the craft wire and all of that. All right, so I'm going to move this. QR code is about to switch again. All right, the QR code is back to the newsletter, and we're going to turn that one off and go back to comments. All right, so just to recap, if you are not getting the Jessie at Home newsletter, you want to use this QR code right here, and you want to sign up for the newsletter. On Saturday, the newsletter will come out, and I will have the link to the replay of this video, which will be on YouTube. And within the newsletter, I will also give you the links that we have spoken about in this video. Okay, so you will have those links. You will have those links that we have spoken about. You don't have to try to, save them all right now. They'll be in that newsletter. By then, the replay of this video will also have the shopping links on it, which will happen down in the bottom left corner usually. There will occasionally be a little link that pops up there that will take you to where you can buy whatever I'm talking about. And there will also be a link at the bottom of the description that says shopping that you can click on. It'll give you everything I've tagged. I'll tag as many things as I can that we've talked about. So you just click on those. They're affiliate links. You'll go straight to wherever you can purchase them from. And you can purchase the various, like the yarns and stuff we've spoken about from those links. And I'll also put any links that I can't include in that shopping section, I will put into the description of the video as well. So your best way to get everything is to make sure you're on the newsletter. So you get kind of the newsletter wrap up of this with all the links, and then to watch the replay. I will make sure that by Saturday, the replay has all of the links and everything. A lot of times, even when I'm super prepared and I've already put links and shopping links and links in the description and everything before I've started the live, we always end up talking about things that I didn't think I was going to say. And so there's always more stuff to add on. So I'll make sure that's all there by Saturday for the rerun, for the replay of the video, and for the newsletter. Okay, and then we will be back again next week, and the sit and stitch next week is, I believe, from 6 to 8 p.m. If it's not from 6 to 8, then it's from 7 to 9. It's an evening one, Eastern time. So the lunch with Jessie is always from 12 to 1 Eastern time. And the sit and stitch changes every Wednesday. I rotate through 4 different times. And it happens the first 4 Wednesdays of every month. A few months have extra Wednesdays in them. And so, yeah, we will have a sit and stitch next week. Then the week after that, I think, is Thanksgiving. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, we will not have a sit and stitch because it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, right? But I will most likely still do the live unless something comes up. And if something comes up, then I'm not going to have the lunch live. I'll make sure to let you guys know. All right. So it was wonderful talking to y'all. I hope you got some really good ideas for budget-friendly, fun, awesome ways to use your yarn and other craft supplies to make a handmade, budget-friendly holidays. And I will see y'all around. Don't be shy to reply to newsletters or send me emails if there's questions or anything you have. All right. I will talk to you later. Have a wonderful Wednesday.